Hi everyone. So I had a really tough time coming up with a topic for this speech. Because the theme has changed, I feel like there is a very fine line between a topic that is cliche and a topic that is motivating. So in order to avoid being overly preachy or overly philosophical, I really wanted to make sure that everybody could relate to what I have to say. Unfortunately, the only common denominator I could find is that we all go to Glenforest. So after a long time online searching for inspiration, I finally stumbled across this quote: "Change is inevitable." And this quote just really spoke to me because it's so true. And because I loved it so much, I decided to modify it to suit Glenn. Change is inevitable, except when it comes from the vending machines in the cafeteria. And that's how I came up with this topic. I'm going to give you a countdown of 7 things that I personally believe need to change here at Glenforest. So starting with number 7. Do any of you know who this man is? No? Okay, well, for those of you lacking in music history, this is Rossini. And you should all know him and his piece, William Tell Overture, extremely well, because you hear it 194 times a year. Now, the reason why I think this music really needs to change is obviously because it's extremely overplayed, but also because I find it completely ineffective. I've been at Glenforest 2.5 years now. I'm halfway through grade 11, so about there. That means I've heard this music over the announcements 485 times, and I still have absolutely no idea when it ends. Every time I think it has reached its climax and is about to end, there's another 20 seconds left. So every day I rush to class only to realize that I actually did have time to put my coat in my locker. But now, thanks to this misleading music, I have to carry it around with me all day. Okay, next, number 6. The next thing that needs to change are these people. The people that sit in the hallways, in front of lockers, and on the stairs. Not only do they sit obstructing the hallway, but they sit with their legs spread out in front of them. It has reached a point where this is no longer just a nuisance. It's a hazard. I mean, math is stressful enough. Nobody needs the extra worry of potentially breaking their neck on the way there. So, not naming any names, if this is you, please change where you congregate in the morning. Number 5. Okay, this one is kind of similar to the last one. It's the people in the halls who walk so slowly. They're either chatting away with their friends or holding hands or, I don't know, staring at the floor. Either way, they block the entire hall, and there is absolutely no way around them. So, of course, this causes like a huge backlog. And it's just extremely frustrating because even if you do try to like squeeze past them and the wall, you'll like end up knocking over one of those giant picture frames. So, if this is you, please change your pace. Number 4, the washrooms. Where to start? Aside from all the questionable writing on the stall walls, chances are only 2 taps work and only 1 dispenser has soap in it. By period 4, you're generally out of luck when it comes to toilet paper. By then, it has all been used for the extremely important task of drying hands. And then, of course, there are the stall doors themselves. They do not lock, especially in that washroom over there by the music room. They will trick you into thinking that they have locked. The door will close, the lock will even turn, but unless you hear a click, it's not locked. The number of times I have walked in on people is far too high. And then it's just so awkward because you don't know whether to apologize or not because it's kind of the other person's fault for not locking the door, but at the same time you still feel really guilty. And then you don't want to see the person when they come out of the stall, so you have to go to a different washroom. And the whole scenario is just so embarrassing and completely avoidable. Number 3. Okay, I can sympathize with these people. In fact, I am one of these people. I understand that every class you are taking requires a textbook, and I understand that your back has been aching since school has started. But I also understand that at the beginning of the year, you received a locker. Your bags, okay, myself included, our bags really do not need to be this big. Because it's not only hurting you, it's hurting everybody around you. If you absolutely must carry around all that stuff with you, fine. But that means you cannot just abruptly change direction in the middle of the hall. Because when you do, that gigantic backpack comes in like a wrecking ball, and everybody in a half-a-meter radius goes down. So if you would please maybe start making like wide turns, or even if you just tried signaling or something, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, number 2. The next thing that needs to change, or rather doesn't need to change, is the temperature. Instead of checking the weather in the morning, you're probably better off checking your class schedule, because we all know that at this school, you can experience all 4 seasons in the same classroom. The cafeteria is always so hot and sweaty, and then the foyer in the winter is just like a pit of slush, and then upstairs is so cold that I end up thanking William Overture because now I have my coat. Okay, now for the big reveal. The number 1 thing that needs to change at Glenforest are the doors that open outward. Students and teachers alike have been knocked over, flung across halls, and slammed in the face by these poorly designed doors. The worst are those heavy cafeteria doors. If you are walking down that hallway and the bell rings, you might as well just start calling yourself Voldemort, because there goes your nose. So that is my countdown of 7 things that need to change here at Glenforest. I hope you enjoyed essentially listening to me complain. Before I end, I just want to say that I really do love Glenforest, and I think it's an amazing school, and that the people here are phenomenal despite how slow they may walk. However, that being said, I still think this school could be even better if we implemented some of these changes. But as Michael Jackson famously said, you have to start with the man in the mirror, which I am going to do. I pledge from now on to always check before I open any doors, and I encourage all of you to do the same, unless, of course, you're a guy, in which case you're exempt due to the lack of mirrors in the washrooms. Thank you.